Okay, boys and girls. So today, Tuesday, November 3rd, we're going to do our first math exam. Now, Miss Kasha is going to share with you on the screen your exam. It's going to be different the way you take an exam because you're not in school with me. If you were in school with me, I would be keeping my eye on you and I would be making sure that you're answering all the questions. But at the same time, I'm not able to give you the answer. I need to see what you know. And if there's something that you know, it's okay because I need to know that so I can help you more so that way you can get better at learning. So I edited this assignment because if you don't have a working printer, you can just simply have your child write out their answers in a notebook. I was going to use Google Forms, but I don't want to complicate anything right now. I just want to see how we're doing with this. So if you have a printer at home, you'll print out the exam. If you do not have a printer at home, don't panic. Just simply take your child's notebook and then you could just write out the answers there. So this is how the exam will get done. Like I mentioned yesterday, it has 17 questions. Okay. I'll talk to you about the last question in a few minutes. So I just want to explain to you how the rest goes. They only need to write their first and last name on the first page. So your child will write their first and last name on the page. The instructions are on each page at the bottom. All I do and all you're going to do at home, I trust you guys. You guys have been really amazing, and I'm very thankful to have you as my cohort D families. So if you have any questions, just please feel free to reach out to me and I will help you. But I'm going to try to break it down as much as possible. So all you have to do is read what the question says. So look at number 1. It says, mark under the number shown by the two sets of counters. Sometimes I reword it differently so the children understand it. So what I would say is, bubble in the number shown by the two sets of counters. That's what we were practicing yesterday when they had to bubble in, what I was showing them on the smartboard. So they look at the counters that are in the frame, that's the 5 frame. They have to count all of those counters, and then they have to bubble in their answer. You don't help them count. They have to count themselves. If they count too fast, just tell them count slower. Usually when you say that, they will count slower and they will get the correct number. And then you encourage them to look for that number, but don't point out that's the answer. Let them bubble it in. Okay, so next one says question 2. Mark under the set of apples that shows the number at the beginning of the row. So you can simply say, look at the number here at the beginning of the row, bubble in the apples that shows that number. So you can always rephrase the question because sometimes the way that the book asks the question is a little too complicated. So you can always try to find your way to reword it so that way your child understands. So that would be for questions 2, 3, and 4. So question 3, they have oranges. You could simply say, look at the number at the beginning of the row, bubble in how many oranges it's showing you at the beginning of the row. So they would look at the number, don't tell them what the number is, they should know, and then they have to bubble in to correspond what number that is. And then same thing with the pineapples. Okay, then number 5. At the bottom it says, mark next to the 5 frames that shows 4 counters. So the counters are those little circles. So you can simply say, bubble in the counters that show the number 4. So all they have to do is count all the choices. And once they count that they have 4, that'll be the one that they bubble in. Okay. Again, if you see them counting too fast, tell them to slow down. Use your magic finger, boys and girls. This is your pointer, your index finger from your hand. You're going to use this for your test to count, okay? And remember to count slowly. Then number 6, mark under the number that shows how many pencils. So you can simply say, look at the pencils, count how many you see, and bubble in your answer. Look for the number. So always try to find ways of rephrasing the question. Now, number 7, they're showing you frogs. So they count the frogs. Now this time, they give the words. The choices are the words. So you can't tell them This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4. You can't do that. They have to try to figure out which is the number that represents the frog. So that's word form. So that's why I was mentioning yesterday in the chapter 1 math book, the page right after 12, it has those vocabulary words and it goes over what was in that chapter. Okay, and then same thing with number 8, mark under the number that matches the word. So I wouldn't rephrase it. I wouldn't say what number that is. They should know. They could try to sound it out and then they would just bubble in their answer. Now, if they bubble in the wrong answer, don't tell them they're wrong. Just simply leave it alone so that way we know what they need help with and then that way we can help them a little bit more. So it's okay if they make mistakes. Like Bob Ross says, they're not mistakes, they're happy little accidents. So, number 9. It says draw the cube towers in order from 1 to 5. So if you look at these towers, they made them out of order. So here you have 1, there you have 5, 2, 3, and 4. So they want your children in the white.
Miss Castro, sorry to interrupt you. We can't hear you. The volume just went really, really, really low, and now we can't hear anything.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I have the same problem. I can't hear you.
All right, let me see. Hold on 1 second, because I haven't been doing anything.
Fix it.
Is that better? No, that's not better. Does that help?
No, it's still the same.
No, we can't hear
no,
you.
it's the same.
That's weird. I don't even. Hello?
I go take a break. Maybe I should take a break here.
It's not time to take a break, Dominic.
I can't hear you, Miss Castro. It's still the same.
I just said, can I take a break right here?
It's still the same, very, very, very low.
Okay, let me. Hold on.
Don't touch.
All right, tell me break it over. Tell me we can hear him and then tell me break it over.
Okay.
And then in a few more seconds, say goodbye. A few more seconds, say goodbye.
Dominic, be quiet.
Okay, I'm on the iPad, but let me get back on the computer. You guys can hear me now, I assume, right?
Yes.
It's a little better.
You know what? Then let me stay on the iPad. Let me just stay on the iPad. I'm gonna share the screen through this way. Hold on. Okay. So let me open up the Google Classroom this way. Is that better now? I hope.
Is that better?
Don't touch.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, a bit better.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stay on my iPad.
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So as I was explaining on the next page, question 9, in the white space, they want your children to put in order the towers from 1 to 5. Okay. Then for number 10, so now these are more short written out answers. There's no bubbling in. So what you say is exactly what it's showing you in the instructions. It says for number 10 and 11, write the number that matches the word. So you cannot tell them what the word is. They have to be able to try to figure it out. So again, just encourage them, try their best. If you see them write the number backwards, again, leave it alone. Don't say anything to them. Don't tell them it's wrong. Don't tell them to flip it around the other way. Just so that way we know what they need help with. It's perfectly fine that they make mistakes. So don't worry about that. Number 12 is pretty self-explanatory. They count the basketballs. Again, encourage them to count slowly, not to go fast, because I know kids tend to like try to count fast and then they get the wrong answer. So just count slowly, boys and girls, with your magic finger and then write the end in the space. Next, same thing, count the stars, write how many stars you find on, how many stars you counted on the line. Now, I'm gonna be straightforward with number 14. In my years of teaching kindergarten, many children see the plate and they start drawing what the question says. So the question says, count how many carrots are on the plate. Children tend to take that question and they illustrate carrots on the plate. Don't, if you see them doing that, don't tell them, don't do that. Repeat the question and say, count how many carrots are on the plate. And then you can even point to the plate and show them what's on the plate, which is obviously nothing. So they should know what number represents nothing. Okay. Number 15, same thing with the 5 frame. There are no counters. There are no circles in that 5 frame. So all they have to do is count how many they see there and then write the number on the line. And then back to number 16, they have to know how to write the number for that word. So it says, write the number that matches the word. Okay, now number 17. The instructions are on the back, but I'm not expecting everyone to have 15 counting cubes because remember, I used to give these tests as a whole class. So a whole class of 20 students and them having 15 counting cubes was impossible. So, well, all you have to do is look at the instructions. It says, have the child build cube trains to show the numbers 1 to 5. So they place the cube trains on the working mat, which is on that sheet right there. And notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So the first picture that they have to illustrate, have them illustrate 1 square. 1 square, write the number 1. Next number is going to be the number 2. So they write the number 2 and they illustrate 2 squares side by side. We're making trains so that they're going to look long. Next line, it's going to be the number 3. So have them keep going and illustrating that number until they get to the last number, which will be the number 5. So it's okay to tell them the first number you're going to write is the number 1. And then you're going to encourage them to keep counting up a number. And then they're going to illustrate that number of squares to show the number of cubes that they have. And then that's it. So don't worry about, in the last page, it says performance indicators. That's for me to grade it later on once I receive the completed test. So the important part here is just to have your child write the numbers in correct order from 1 to 5. And then they have to illustrate the squares representing that number right next to it. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing here.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question? The squares, you want them sideways, right? Not going down.
Right, so sideways like a train, not
Okay.
up and down like a tower. So sideways.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what other questions does anyone else have? You can unmute yourself and let me know whatever questions anyone has. Just let me know now so I can help you out. And then if something happens to pop up later on, just message me on Class Dojo.
Okay, and these tests has to be, well, we're gonna have them print out because in this tablet, Andrew can't do it because I won't be able to submit it. So we're, his mother's having it printed out.
Okay.
The father's gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna have him do it. Now, this is to be done all today, correct?
Yes, so the test has to be done today. That's why I didn't assign much to do today. So that way you have the entire day to work on it. It's not due until 6 in the evening, like all our other assignments are due. So they have the entire day to work on it. In all honesty, this test could take anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour because of the amount of questions. And it's the first exam that your child is doing. So give them that time. It's great that they're at home and they can do it at their own pace. Of course, let them complete the whole test in one shot. You know, don't go spacing it out where 1 hour they do 5 questions, the next hour, no. Just let them complete the whole test, but give them as much time as they need.
Okay,
Okay.
that's her computer teller. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then just essentially, just look at the question. You saw how I kept rephrasing it so that way a child will understand. That's the best way and then just encourage them to count slowly, because many times kids like to count fast and then they get the wrong answer. So they're at home, which is great. They have you guys, but boys and girls, mommies and daddies cannot give you the answer. You have to think with your brain. So if you try to say, can you tell me what the answer is? They're not going to give you the answer. I want to see what you know. And if there's something that you don't know, I will be here to help you. Okay. Because I want you to get better. It's okay if you make mistakes. It's okay. All right. So again, in order to access the exam, you have to be logged in with your child's New York City student account. If you need that information, again, let me know and I will send it to you. But that is pretty much it. And then reminder, I have like about 1/3 of families that already signed up for parent teacher conferences. I have 3 today, right after I'm done at 10 o'clock. So I already messaged those families. And then I already have some scheduled for tomorrow. So please go on Class Dojo. I'll share that screen. Hold on one second, where it is. On Class Dojo, it's in the stories. So in the stories, you're going to look for the bright green background with the yellow ducky. Click on that link, and that link is going to take you directly to the website called Sign Up Genius, where you will pick a slot as to when. Wow, I have a lot. Thank you, everyone. So I'm busy today. I'm busy tomorrow morning and afternoon. I still have some afternoon slots for tomorrow between 12:30 and 1. And then I'm available all day Thursday. Nobody signed up. I just have one family that signed up at the end of the day. So there are enough slots for each and every family here. So if you don't have a slot for today or tomorrow morning, you still have tomorrow afternoon and then all of Thursday. So that is there. What else can I say? That is pretty much it. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, if you guys need help, just reach out to me on Class Dojo and I can help you. If for some reason your child gets frustrated with you doing the exam, you know, as a backup, I'm more than happy to do it with them one-on-one. But the fact that they're home with you, I'm hoping that they'll be comfortable and they won't give you too much of a problem. So hopefully that'll be good. And then as soon as you guys are done, I know it's a lot of pages, just please take a picture of it and then send it like you always do to submit the assignments. It's supposed to be 6 pages, I believe, or 5. So just make sure that it gets done today. Okay. I'll be back in school tomorrow. So I'm happy about that because I have very limited resources here. I tried to remember to bring what I thought was important. But yeah. Does anyone have any other questions? Anything that I can help them out with? No? Okay. All right, boys and girls. So you can unmute yourselves. I will see you tomorrow bright and early. Good luck on your first math exam.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Good luck, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
boys and
Leah. Bye.
Say bye, Skylar.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Jaden. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Goldie, hang up, mommy.
See you.
Yes, Booba. Keep meeting.